Right. Okay, this is a recording. It's going to be quite informal about things. If we just get used to being recorded, I think we'll be fine.
Well, we've got to start somewhere.
Yeah. So, I want to take this time because certain things start to confluence in my head. So most of this is going to be me trying to explain something, but it's not formed yet.
Right.
So I was going to do this just by myself, but because of various things that we talked about, I thought maybe you might want to help.
Yeah. But I don't quite understand, but I'm definitely interested.
Okay, good. So, right, we were just talking actually very, very briefly just before we go on to things. Okay, some of the topics we're going to talk about today is to do with open source and how we code that and how we get money flow for it. Okay, open source. Another one is clients and getting clients. I'm talking to some people later today about that. And that's to do with attraction. And we're also going to maybe talk about MTTP a bit, as in equal squared. And then there's various people, and so I might have to introduce a few people. Okay? Are we good with that?
Yep.
Okay, some of these things, most of these things you've no idea. Okay, so, but just before we go into those, we were just briefly talking about this house. We're living in a Victorian house.
Yeah.
And you said your gran.
Born in 1905. Yeah. I could remember having to have the kettle over the open fire in the living room so they could have wash and have cups of tea, which of course was still fairly rare, bit of a luxury back then.
Tea.
Yeah. Yes. But of course, that might have been their circumstances. They weren't exactly a well-to-do family. What with, I think there was 13 children. It was, you make do with what you had, really.
Several people in a bed?
Oh, yeah. 15 people, sorry. I think there was 7 people it was only a 3-bedroom house. So it was all the kids, or all the girls in one room, all the boys in the other, and mum and dad in the living room.
Okay, so now this is historically only about 60, 70 years ago.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, and we're talking about now we have electricity and gas, and I grew up in this environment where you switched on the gas and electricity, you had hot water, it was just all automatic.
Yeah.
And we're so used to it now.
Oh, yeah, we take these things for granted.
Exactly. However, there are many people on the planet that don't have that.
No.
Okay, that's why when they come here, they go, this place is amazing.
Wow.
Exactly. Because of the infrastructure that's been built over a long time.
Yeah.
And, okay, so the thing that we're playing with here, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and effectively he described himself and what he's trying to do as a hinge between first and third world. But don't think about third world as in people just kind of sitting about dying in fields. All right? As in third world, as in these countries that have got our tech. There are people kicking about in these other countries that have our tech, and yet, if you go outside the city, there are people out in the fields and having a difficult time.
Yeah.
Okay? Literally, if we just walked out of here for a while, we'd find them.
Yeah.
If we were living in. And yet, they have this kind of tech. And they can actually work for high-tech companies globally.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so his theory and practice is, can we provide the services? Can these people provide the services for the leading, Fortune 500 companies, clients and so on and so forth in the first world, and yet make use of effectively the differential financially, so that the people that are in worse conditions can improve their situation by using a bit of tech.
Yeah. I mean, the technology's there.
Yeah.
So why not,
Okay. So that's one thing, is the actual technology, and it's to do with open source technology. It's to do with the sharing of the technology in order to be able to provide certain services. So I met this guy yesterday called Dante, and he's trying to do this thing with this. He's got a very loose idea of, no, I think it's a bit more precise. I've got a loose impression maybe of what he's trying to do. Okay, which is effectively grow a network. Okay, that's working in this way. It's not a company. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the missing piece for me. It's speaking with Dante yesterday, was like, fantastic. So they want me to get involved in project management. Okay, and because of the fact that I've played around with things, like project management tools, kind of, and I've worked with some people trying to produce a multi-billion-dollar company, in 24 weeks. It's similar kinds of things. It's one of the words they use just now is called swarming.
Right.
I use like flocking, like birds flocking.
Yeah.
Right. So it's more like that than working in a company like a bunch of ants or something, being told what to do.
Right. With you so far.
Right. So there are various people. Okay, so I want to see if I can map these people. That was yours. Right, where's my pen? I had them a few seconds ago.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's too thick. It goes straight through. No, I've got a bunch. Right, oh, there. Don't worry, this is not like a formal thing. This is not like a presentation. This is just to do with us, basically. We're recording us. It just so happens that other people, if they can be bothered. But it's not that they watch the whole thing. It's that we'll put a timestamp in.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, if we put the time, I'd be able to know.
I think it was 10:24. So I'll put 100% on that.
Oh, excellent. So what happens is if anything that you think is interesting, you go, ooh, that's interesting. Or if I think it's better if this person's listening, marks it. They just mark the time and put a word or two. And it means then we can go over the video and we can just put in timestamps. And that's it done.
Sure.
We can do just that marking, stick it under the video, job done. No more, writing up and anything else. You see how efficient that is. How efficient. How beautifully efficient. Okay, so the various people are Dante. Actually, we should do this together, actually. Dante is one dude, and he's doing this kind of open source kind of network group thing. You've got another guy who's Manny, who is doing something very interesting to do with basically sex. Okay, and
sex sells.
Well, basically yes, and it's kind of marketing and awareness. Okay. And you've got another guy called Gunther, who's high tech. He's not just an advisor; they're producing things. So high tech. He's not a salesman. He's just a global high tech person. Okay, and he goes around and he tries to push and produce certain bits of tech for companies.
Right.
Then you've got this guy called Doug, who's a New York social business, a guy with 20 years of social business. And social business was only coined 5 years ago. So this guy's kind of been doing it for a while on the ground, as it were. And the proof of the fact that he's been doing it is because he's not doing that well in a certain way financially.
Right.
The ones that are doing well financially, it means that they're plugged into the current system. The ones that are not are trying to do something that hasn't quite worked. And there's a lot to be found in the people that have not managed to get it to work yet. I'm one of those people.
Snap.
Oh, okay, there we go. And so it doesn't mean that what it is that we're doing is wrong or bad or whatever it is. It's that we're trying to do something. If we're trying to do what it is that they're wanting us to do and we fail, then what's the point of that? But if you're trying to do something that's new and it doesn't work, that doesn't mean that the thing that's new doesn't work. It's just that it hasn't quite, it's contravening what the system is and hasn't got to the time yet where the system can accommodate it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Concern what?
No, well, it's just the people fear the change, as it were.
Yeah.
It's the unknown. People aren't always that prepared to take a step into the unknown.
That's it, exactly. And I find that is the case with adults a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas kids,
we all get sort of stuck in the rut. We go in, we do the 9 to 5, and what else is out there we don't really want to know. Unfortunately.
Right, and so that's where the edge is, because if we can mobilize people, engage people, free people from that kind of system, because a lot of people are free. They don't actually have these jobs and so on and so forth. So if we can make use, if we can interface with those people better, it means that the things that we're playing around with will expand. So we're talking about, for example, clients. I'm not sure about clients. Right. There's Doug. Now, there's bound to be another person that hasn't popped well. There's a freaking genius called Alex, who's just like a philosopher kind of journalist. He didn't quite. That's what somebody else. That's what Gunther called him. I say he's an artist. he's definitely an artist. But I haven't actually. He's actually an artist, isn't a painter. But he does. I mean, some crazy head stuff. He's a coder as well, I think. So those are the main people that I've engaged. Oh, and Mariana. Mariana is a coder basically, and she's interested in AI and various things as well. Okay, so she's not just 9 to 5 code this thing. She's definitely following her own interests. Now all of these are there, of course. There's me, David, fantastic. There's you, Leigh, and there's all the players that I could think of just right now. There's a few other people. Like I'm going to include them with an us basically. There's Fred, and there's other people. There's another John. Yeah. John, right, and John, of course, our third member.
The silent partner.
The silent partner, that's right. That's like when you put a table and you have to leave one space. For
you never know.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a very good. You may be joking, but I like that. So that means that it should always be space for somebody to come in. Basically, should always be space for somebody to come in.
Well, exactly. You want an open door system. I mean, if you don't have an open door system, then in my eyes, this will not work. You want to listen to people's ideas, then you must have the open idea. Otherwise, we're back into that box of, no, sod you, this isn't going to work. Do one. For want of a better expression.
I don't know if the people actually have that kind of colloquial kind of understanding, but okay. I understand what you mean. All right. And there's other people which for some reason I haven't quite got in my head, but if they pop into my head, then that'll be a good thing. I'm so conditional. Oh, Simon, sorry. Simon, and these are the two people I'm meeting today, Erin. Oh, and there's another guy called Stefan. Now, there's various other people, but these are, oh, and David. David.
Anyone else?
David Lynch. Yeah.
Lynch. What does that name ring about?
David Lynch as well, director. But anyway, no, it's my cousin, nephew, and he's a good guy. So look, there are plenty of people who I name all the freaking time various things. Okay, but just to try and focus it. Okay, right, because this could go on forever. Nobody's paying attention to this anyway. Right. So okay, operating system. Right. So. Okay, right. So, I'm going to start saying some crazy things, okay? And it's not going to explain a huge amount because, as I say, it's starting to come together. So, this is the bit which is going to get tricky. It's not us, I don't think. So, are you ready?
Yep, let's go for it.
Okay, I don't actually know. You see, I'm going to have to disappear into my mind, basically, and I won't be able to check. So you've got to break it open and ask questions or whatever it is. Okay, because otherwise, I'm just going to... Well, no, not otherwise. I'm going to be in track of things that are quite tricky to track in my head. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I have a tendency to go on and on and on.
Okay.
So if you don't follow something, you kind of go, no, you've lost me now. And if it happens quite quickly, say, no, I've lost you now. Try and help me, you can, but...
But if you start rambling, I'll tell you you're rambling as well.
Rambling, it doesn't quite have that quality, but it's yes, okay, it can be considered rambling. Right. Okay. How do I collect these thoughts? Because I woke up this morning after the conversation last night with Dante, and various thoughts popped into my head. Which one of these sounds like the most interesting one? I'd like to be able to draw or write on the screen here, but I can't. Do I want to start off with a bit of maths? That'll bore us to death, won't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, not being funny. If you want to get people's attention, you've got to get an idea that's going to make people go, "Wow!"
Yeah, no, that's not what I do. You see, that's not my skill.
But
so
again,
that's for somebody else to do. You see.
Yeah, but you're saying this is not like a company, and to somebody else's eyes, you're already passing the buck.
I'm passing the buck. I like that. I'm passing the buck as in giving away money. That's the way to say it. I like that. Thank you very much. 10:37. That's a perfect one. Pass the buck. Pass the buck. Or in my system, it would be give it forwards. Give it forwards. Yes. Okay. So you're saying that I'm absolving my responsibility of kind of like saying something interesting. But the thing is, I actually think this is interesting.
Yes, but again, you know, it's like one man's rubbish is another man's gold.
Right? And I'm saying this is my man's gold. This is gold here. Gold, I tell you!
Is gold in them there hills?
No, it's right here! In fact, it's not gold, it's water. It's the water of life. That's what's here. And if you like whiskey, then it's kind of good. No, it's the water. Okay.
Rocket fuel,
So, okay, right. Let me just talk about it. Okay, no, okay, if that's not, okay, you're not ready for that. Right. Okay, so if you are the person I'm communicating with, so that's the trick, you see. When I was going into a class, all right, when I was speaking to a bunch of kids in a classroom, they're there because they're meant to learn something. They know they're meant to be there to learn some maths. But I wouldn't go in there going, right, okay, here's some maths. I'd be like, hello. And then I'd have to speak to them, find out what the situation is, blah, 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 and then catch their minds with something or other about how they're interacting, and da, 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 da. And then at some stage or other go, right, are we ready to do, oh, right, this is boring shite. And then say, okay, can we make this boring shite into something which is interesting? That's the challenge for today.
which is what I was saying. You know, you've got to grab.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get their attention. What I did was, I noticed something that was going on. There's a live scenario. You know, when you have a whole bunch of people in a room, and you're a new person, and they're tearing each other apart, and they don't want to know you, and all this kind of stuff. There's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So all you have to do is start pointing at it. Okay, and then by doing that quite nicely, that's why they're attending, because I'm actually attending to the fact that they're attending. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a positive feedback loop. But the trouble is, when I'm facing a screen or anything like that, most adults, they're very passive.
Yeah.
Huh?
They switch off.
They switch off. They're not really engaged. It's like, and the first time I had 100 people, I had 100 adults in front of me. This was in 2007. And I was leading this group thing, and I stood up to start talking to them, and it was like talking to like a field of stumped grass. It was like, sorry, is there anybody alive out there?
Mm-hmm.
It was really wacky. And then somebody I encouraged, until somebody did stand up, and it was kind of interesting. It was Pam. I'll take that later. Okay, so if you don't want to do the math, okay, so right, what do you want to know? Because that's the problem, you see. I'm not really doing this thing, and I'm fully engaged with a bunch of people because I haven't understood what we're doing. I'm trying to put it together in my head, so it's not quite like that.
Right. Basically, I want to know is how this will work. What will change? Why? How will you grab people's attention? Why will people want to make a step into your society?
Because they get money flow.
Will they get money flow doing the normal 9 to 5?
Doing what it is that they want to do.
Doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to sit around and do nothing.
No, very few people want to do nothing. Very, very few. And that's actually very difficult. If people really want to do nothing, I would say, oh, that's Buddhism. But if they're just going to be a lazy arse and do nothing for anybody else, then yeah, that is a problem. But I don't think the problem is there's freeloaders. I actually don't think that's the problem. I think most people are willing to like put some effort to do things. They have interest and enthusiasms. I think most people are stunted. I think that's a result of our system.
Well, yeah, I mean, not being funny, but look at me. You get kicked back so many times that you just lose the will to live, as it were, you know? So that's what's grabbed my attention about your system,
Right.
your ideas. You know, there's got to be a way to improve things.
Yeah. And that's why we're talking, is because you have been doing just kind of normal jobs and everything else. And I don't think it's treating you that well.
That's probably the mildest way you could put it. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, if you can imagine, there are people in entire countries that are getting kicked.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. You know, I mean, by no stretch of the imagination is it just me. You know.
So
I mean, there's very few people out there that get job satisfaction or are happy doing their job or anything else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in with the crowd, as it were.
And I've been playing around with what I've been doing, and I've been taking the risk. It hasn't worked so far, but hopefully, between the two of us, between various people, we'll manage it. Right. So how does it? So, for example, okay, there are maybe some people that are watching this, Simon and Erin, who are. We're going to have a conversation later today. It's going to be about clients.
Right.
Because they're interested in getting clients. They need to get clients. And also this other guy, Dante, he's also engaging clients. This whole notion of clients, I think, is our current way of thinking in our...
Yeah.
Right. And I've started thinking about, I only started thinking yesterday, about what that actually means in terms of getting clients.
Right.
If you can also work on that, then presumably if we can work out a way of getting more clients, then presumably that'll be good, wouldn't it? Would that interest you now, right now, or?
Well, I mean, yes.
If you helped other people get their clients.
As long as I can be myself, yeah.
Yeah, of course you can be yourself. But the way you do that is that you might get clients for you, as it were. It's just that you can't supply the skills that they might need. And there are other people that you're connected with that can.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That makes sense? Right. Now, I know that you're here, you're very much located here, and you don't really do any of the global stuff. That's fine. That's fine.
Been there, seen it, done it. I have travelled and so on.
Right.
You know, it's somebody else's turn. I've done my part, or what I want to do, as far as the travelling, getting things sorted. You know, I'm not very much. I've tried it, didn't like it. Not for me. Not a backpacker. Not a. I don't like when you watch, like we were talking about third world countries and so on. You go, I don't like walking past somebody, although I'm not rolling in cash or something. Like you see people, as you say, sitting in the field dying through starvation. The guilt that goes through your head when you think, well, you know, £1 to me is 3 million quid to them. You know, how fucked up is a situation where nothing to me means the world to them. And you get the guilt trip. Well, they don't intentionally put you on a guilt trip. But your human nature is, you know, it's like you see a starving animal. You throw it a bit of bread. You know, you think, well, how fucked up is this world that we can't help somebody, like you said, sitting in the field dying of starvation? You know, and the whole sitting there, well, yeah, I like looking at your fields and your monuments and all the rest of it. But you're sitting there talking to basically somebody that's nothing more than a skeleton, it sort of zaps the whole experience for you know, or for me at least.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's quite extreme, but yeah. But the good thing about what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve our problems locally. We're trying to get people to get money flow in their current economy. with the current conditions that they're in. So it doesn't involve traveling, but because of the fact we're working over the internet, it means that we are in separate geolocations.
Yeah.
So we're eating different food, we have different economies, and so on and so forth. So how do we share clients? That's a big problem. So if you manage to get a client, how on earth can somebody on the other side of the world use your client? Or if they get a client, how can you use them? Because if it's got that specificity, there's a guy around the corner of the shop and we're helping them out doing something, how on earth is that related to somebody else on the other side of the world? Okay, so I hear what you're saying. It went up in a slightly different direction for me. But I like the fact that it is, you're here and you're trying to live here, and there are people in their respective places. So we're a bit of a catch-22. I'm not thinking of a solution that we're going to come up with immediately, but there is a space potentially for certain people, certain clients that are working virtually, that are working over the internet. So for example, people that are helping doing life coaching.
Yeah.
Life coaching doesn't require for you to be present, geolocation-wise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. Oh, I don't know if this just. This is. I really just want to talk about math. No, I'm going to have to, give me 10 minutes, okay? I'm going to have to just yabber. If you don't want me to do that, I don't know how to do it. See, I've just got these thoughts that are quite loose, and I would like to put them together. Well, I don't know how attractive that is. You're saying you've got to make it attractive. I'm like, God.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I said. You're saying you don't want to grab people's attention, but it's
not
like
really want to grab anybody's attention. No. Sorry. I want people to give their attention. No, I don't want that. If they give their attention, then it's like, well, thank you. And then I can say the thing that I'm interested in. Like with you. If people give you attention, so you don't have to fucking grab the fucking attention. But people came along and went, okay, I'm now going to give you my attention. And a bunch of people, 10 people, give you their attention and give you some money. They give you your attention and they give you some money. What would you do with it?
Wonder what the fuck they wanted, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What would they want? Well, what would they want? Well, what do people want here? They're wanting to find out something. They've given their time, and maybe, let's imagine, we're living in a period of time where they're actually giving money. Let's imagine that there are 10 people watching this and going, okay, I'll put £10 in before they listen.
But what are they getting in return? What have we guaranteed them?
No, can't guarantee anything.
So why would they want to put their £10 in?
Because it's happening, baby. It's happening. This is live! Right? Yeah, they might not watch this whole show, but the point is, they put in the £10, we have this talk, whatever the hell it is. Maybe it's because they like what it is, who we are, and so they're like, oh, that engagement between those two people was very interesting. It's like watching a show with two people that have never met before, and two that are famous, and you're thinking, oh, that's going to be an explosive kind of like meeting, or a very interesting, or it's like sex, almost like watching two people have sex. Okay, ooh, that's the sexual one. We're not really doing that.
Are you guaranteed we're not fucking having sex? No!
Okay, that's true. That's true. Thank you. Thanks, just because everybody's watching.
Yeah,
we're having sex on or off the screen. Alright. Right. Okay. But what I'm saying is that if what it is that we're doing, or the things that we're playing around with, is interesting enough, and this is right at the beginning, this is before anything really happens, nobody's going to be interested in this. This is not, it's not packaged. It's not pre-packaged and then given to people because it's worked out. And this is the system, and this is how it works, and isn't this beautiful, and so we're selling it to you. This is the co-creation part. This is before we even co-create. This is like I think there's something that can pull together here. And that's the people that are watching. They're also pulling something together. So they're in the state of, I'm pulling this together. That's why they're paying. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You still don't think it's valuable?
Well,
my God, you are tough. You are tough.
I'd come from a business school. I know you're saying you don't want to market it and sell it and so on.
Yeah.
But it's like that when that box of whatever the hell it was, the 2 for £1 down at Tesco's. something maybe.
Chow mein.
Yeah,
Chow
that
mein.
was it.
Yeah.
You know, we could have both walked past that a million times.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
well, yeah. On that one particular instance, so it grabbed my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't particularly looking for a microwave Chinese. But, you know, whether it was different packaging or the different shape of the box.
That's a finished product. That's what I'm saying. It's a finished product.
Exactly. But,
Right.
and I told you, so it's word of mouth. So how am
Yes.
my client's going to interact with somebody over the in the other side of the world? Word of mouth. John down the street is blah blah blah.
Word of mouth. That's how it works. Now, that means that it didn't grab my attention. You shared something with me, and I went out and I spent money, and I just got them. I hadn't tasted anything. Da da da. It just sounded like, oh, okay, I'll give it a go. Da 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 da. Oh, and then I tasted it. It was okay. Okay. Actually, the other one's better. Not the chicken. The other one.
The Thai green.
It's actually rather nice, and I put chickpeas and everything else. It was like really substantial.
Yeah.
So it was a nice sauce, basically. Anyway, the rice is very good. Details, right? But but do you see? That's genuine. That was genuine. It was something to do with food.
Yeah.
It was something to do with the fact that we have to eat and something or other, and it was quite cheap. And you were saying this thing, so I went out literally that day and bought 4 of these freaking things, okay, because they were on half price, okay. Now that's got. You might think, oh, but it's because of them with packaging. No, the reason why that £4 cost is because you told me. Okay.
Well, yeah, you know,
Right.
I stumbled across a good product.
Yeah, no. Forget about that bit. Forget about. Well, not forget about that bit, but that's one bit that's interesting. With this, okay, with the people and the things that we're playing around with, it is exactly a recommendation. That's the thing, not the bit before. It's that bit.
Well, yes, that works in all aspects of life. Like, you know, somebody, when you walk in a shop, if the person serving you is a complete and utter, not very nice person, you go to the next till the next time you go in the shop. You know, if somebody's rude and arrogant, you think, well, up yours, I'll go somewhere else.
Right. So it's all got to do with that personal bit, isn't it? So that's how the financial system should be working. It's basically on how nice we are and what we recommend. It's the human bit. It's not the illusion that we think we're packaging something, and it's because of the packaging that we buy stuff. Because we've been convinced of this by heavy advertising. If you remember your great-grand, was it your great-grand?
No, just my grand.
Your gran, I suspect back then, and that's why salesmen back then they took, village yokels, basically. Because a village yokel will be out there on the farm doing their thing with their family. It's all trust. It's all trust and getting stuff done and blah, 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 blah. And then they go into this town. And then somebody comes along and says, look, I've got these beans. They're magic beans and they'll grow, magic beans and they'll grow. Da, da, da. And people, oh, really? Really? Is that right? Yeah, give us all your money. Oh, okay, I trust you. You're in the city. You must know what you're talking about. And it was as innocent as that.
Yeah, back then.
No. And it's what's happening in the current world in different places. And what's happened, however, is that we have become harder and more cynical.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yes.
Yeah, like as I said to you before, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Well, no, yes, that is the way it's right. However, we're playing with an alternative system. And the alternative system is, no, we're not a dog-eat-dog world. Okay, we are actually genuine human beings. And there are still plenty of people out there that are genuine human beings. Okay, I think there are. And even the ones that are in the dog-eat-dog world are still genuine human beings. It's just that they do that with their work. They do it in other contexts. With their friends and their family. And they're genuine, nice human beings.
Well, yes.
Right. It's just that the economy doesn't support that. The economy supports the other thing.
True enough.
Right. Yeah, I think it's true enough. The trick about that then is, can we produce this alternative? So, but that's almost like, look, we're just spending time talking to each other, almost like trying to see if we can get further.
I was going to say, well, need a pee anyway, so do you want to do the maps thing for 10 minutes?
While you have a pee?
Yeah. Just come on, all of a sudden.
What, so you're not present while I yab about this?
Oh, it can be. It's up to you. But it's not desperate.
But you're just not that interested.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Effectively, I want to put these things together, and I still haven't. Okay, there's like 5 different things I haven't put together. I'm just trying to work out a way that I can just get into them, and we spent 50 minutes kind of. It's not bad, but
Well, again, it's. I mean, I come from a business mindset. You know, I've been in sales, I've been in account management, blah blah blah.
Right.
You have to have something to grab my attention. You know, it's like somebody hands you a piece of paper. Well,
No,
great.
look.
What do you want me to do with that?
Look.
You know.
I don't want to grab your attention, okay? And that's why you're not here, because I grabbed your attention. There's something about how we've engaged and so on and so forth that you think, okay, let's have a look at this and da 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 da. That's what you're doing. It has to rely on you going, okay, I'm interested enough to do whatever the hell it is that I'm moving along with. And, well, why are you talking to me?
Because this has grabbed my attention. You know.
Well, I didn't grab it, but you seem to have.
Got my attention.
Right?
You know. It's
Well, I have to keep it. I've got to keep a hold of this fucking attention. And if I don't keep it, you're going to fucking run off. I don't want to do that. Tedious. Sorry.
No, there's no point. What are you apologising for?
Well, I'm not trying to keep anybody anywhere. It's like, this is what happens with people, and, you know, it's like I'm chasing them. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking chase people. I'm not a fucking dog. Alright? I'm not chasing after anybody's bones or anybody's minds. What I'm interested in is going, look, if there's a potential, an absolutely fucking huge potential, okay, that we're all kind of, not all, but some of us are playing around with, tinkering around the outside, and yet I'm sitting there going, oh, I think it's this. And for whatever the fucking reason, people are just not quite paying attention. I don't know what to do about that. I do not, honestly, I can get the attention of children. I can get the attention of a fucking 1-month-old baby. I mean, what the fuck? I can get the attention of adolescents. But for some reason or other, adults, oh, fucking hell. They kind of go, oh, but you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I don't have to fucking do a fucking thing. I don't have to do a fucking thing. I don't want you to do a fucking thing either. I don't want you to have to get people's attention. All this marketing shit. It's shit, 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 shit. Sorry. Do you see how aggressive I get?
Yeah.
Okay? Right. I want the alternative.
That's a good thing. You know,
right.
It shows that you're passionate, that you want to make the change.
Yes. No, I don't want to make the change. I am the freaking change. All this stuff about, you know, Gandhi, or be the change you want to see. I am the fucking change in the world. And yet, for some reason or other, people are talking about it, don't fucking recognise it. It fucking drives me fucking mad. Because I'm sitting there going, I think I'm saying the right things. I think I'm doing it. I think I'm acting in the right way. And yet, they keep on going on about, oh, you have to do some fucking marketing. If you respect Gandhi, do you fucking think that Gandhi fucking marketed himself? Sorry.
No,
he fucking didn't. But there was a bunch of people that went, wait a minute, what's this guy talking about? And they paid attention to the dude. The guy would he would turn up a meeting late. He would fucking walk to the meeting. There's a whole bunch of people, national heads of state, in a meeting. And the guy would fucking walk from this bloody bus, because he wouldn't take anything else, alright, to this guy's house. Why? Why would he walk? Because he wanted to, you know, this is the appropriate way to wander about the world. You walk. If you could walk, you could walk. It would be a nice walk, and you could see the trees and everything else. And he would get to these places. And then when he got there, what he would do? He'd serve them fucking tea. It wouldn't be like, quick, rush, we've got to move up, we've lost time. Other people would be like, who's this guy? Why is he late? Okay, and those people would be slightly like, what the fuck's going on here? And for some reason, the bunch of people, they went, wait a minute, there is something about this guy. What the fuck's he doing? And they actually listen to the guy, and they actually attend, because there is something that this guy's got that the other people are like, what the fuck is it? What the fuck is it? And because it's the what the fuck, as in we don't know. And also Gandhi, I'm fairly certain, didn't really know. He was also making up as he was going along. It's this not knowing, which is the thing that's very, very exciting. If he knew, he'd be a dictator. The fact he didn't know is why he was not a leader, but a facilitator, just kind of reflecting what was going on. Anyway, God, that was a fucking rant. Right, sorry, that was a rant. What do you make of that rant? Rant over. That's what I'm going to write you.
No, I mean, oh, yes.
What? Look, I've just done this. Camera, who cares? What?
It's because you're saying you're difficult to, or find it difficult to get adults' attention. As we said, it's all pretty fucked up and so on. That's because it is fucked up. We've all been fucked over in some way or another.
That's right.
That makes us think. Like Gandhi or whoever. There was people that thought, well, this bloke's off his fucking banana tree. When we don't look at this fucking lunatic, and they carried on merrily going about their fucking lives.
Yeah, they ignored. They ignored Gandhi for a lot of time.
And no doubt, even in this day and age, there's people who are probably thinking the bloke was nothing but a tosser. We've all been fucked over in some way, and it's. I don't know if it's grabbing our attention, but it's getting us to trust you. Like I say,
that's what's required. You mean?
Yeah.
You see, and that's it. Trust. Okay. Now. Trust. Well, you write it down. 1202. You do it for crying outside. If you do it as well, look. Put time and date. Honestly, that's what we do, and then we just compile them. All right. You bloody lazy bugger. Why is it I'm doing it? Just yes. Right. That's okay. Trust. Okay. Okay, and that's exactly what the problem with the clients is. Okay, currently, because currently what you have to do is you have to sell. You have to sell to clients. You have to catch these clients. All right. Whereas what Dante seemed to indicate to me yesterday is that the way he's engaging people is very honest. Very honest. It's like, this is what we're trying to do, this is what we think we can do, and this is how much it's going to cost you. It's very honest, very direct. We're not buggering anybody. There's no mask. There's no mask. He literally said that. Now that's an interesting world. If you can have business without masks.
Yes.
Still takes them a while to engage people, to get them to kind of start. Okay?
But that goes back to the fear thing, which again is a trust thing.
Right.
We fear the unknown, as I've said.
Some of us fear the unknown. Okay. Okay. No, that's too complicated now for me. I've gone already. Okay, so clients. How do you get clients and stuff? And for me, the solution is scalable trust, and that's what the MTTP contract is. Effectively, you say, "Are you willing to engage for a minute?" And then you say something or you produce something in that minute. If it's good enough, then you extend it. You might expand it up to an hour. You might expand that up to a day, and then a week, and so on and so forth. Okay?
Yeah.
Also, another thing is Chinese health. There you go. That's definitely from the side here, right? Oblique angle approach. Chinese health system. What do they do? It's not based on whether you actually get like an ailment and then you go to the doctor. What it's based on is, do you pay a doctor because you're healthy?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's how the system runs. You pay people because it's working. Not because there's a problem, which is what our current system is. You've got a problem, don't you? Oh, I've got a solution. It's not like that. It's more like, keep giving me the money and I will keep on providing the right service to you. I'll keep on providing you with electricity. I'll keep on providing you with gas. I'll keep on providing you with electronic solutions so your system works and all this kind of stuff. We'll keep on updating the software for you. Free. It's not free, but they're definitely doing it. People are putting effort in. So it's the relationship. And you're paying for that relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite different. So how do you get a client in that way? You don't do it by selling shit to them. You don't do it by putting up a false face. You do it by having a genuine engagement with them and providing them with something that they actually need.
Yeah.
Okay, right? So so with these guys, they're like doing life coaching. It's like, okay, but that's quite soft. What you need to do is you want to make sure that they notice, and that's the trick, the mind state of somebody who's healthy. They go, I've woken up today. I'm healthy. Pay the doctor. Whereas currently, now it's like, I'm healthy. I'm going off to do something, play football. And there's no acknowledgement of the fact that you're healthy and kind of give, like today, wow, I have electricity. No, I've taken it for granted. Whereas if I'm paying for it in a mental state where I go, I keep on wanting electricity, but it's just a positive thing. It's not a I have to. It's more just like, well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So I'm giving this money because it's a good thing. Does that make sense? Whereas I'm reluctant about paying money for the electricity. I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be reluctant about paying electricity. I shouldn't be trying to reduce how much money I pay for electricity. I should not be thinking that. Surely. It's a privilege. It's an absolute privilege. Why on earth am I saying, oh, I should be spending less. Oh, and they're getting me to think about competition. I have to spend the least that I can. Fuck it. I've got electricity. Here's the money. Does that not make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like an inversion. So I think that's the way that we're going to get clients, basically. The client's relationship is something to do with that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through some other things, unless you've got a question on that.
No, go on.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's relationships that you're forming. Okay, so MTTP contract, just fit this in. MTTP contract, so for example, you have £10 for the day.
Right.
£10 for an hour, £100 for the day, £1,000 for the week. 10,000 for the season. Okay, but what you can do is you can have that block over a period of time. So it kind of decelerates or accelerates money. So for example, I could give you, for example, £10 an hour every season. That's all. So every season it's just £10. It isn't very much.
No.
Okay. However, if you get enough people doing that, it can supply you perhaps with enough money. But all they're effectively doing is they're saying, I only want that much of your kind of time or effort or energy to be able to supply me with what it is that I need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a scalable thing. So that's what you want. You want to have relationships with people. People are effectively just taps of money, and everybody's just putting money towards each other in this kind of MTTP way. So your clients would be effectively giving you the equivalent of how much do you need to make say a month?
About £1,000.
A grand. Yeah. Okay. So a grand. Okay. Really, I think a grand. That means that every month, which is about 250 a week, which is about was it £50 a day? And in my system, well, you should be running about £100 a day. So it should be about double that. Which is, in the UK, that's okay. Anyway, but that's what you want. You just want to have this kind of idea and the notion that people are paying because at any point, your clients say, oh, look, I need this now. You go, oh, okay. And then you just try and, oh, your service is down, or, oh, there's a problem there. Okay, I'll try and improve the software. Oh, you've got a problem with software? I'll try and improve it. You've got a problem in your mind? Okay, let's engage. Oh, okay, sorted that? Okay, good, right. But the point is you're not paying for that problem to be solved because that causes the current economy. That just happens to be part of the service. It's just a daily thing. It's just, so you have to be free. So you are free to provide your service to whoever it is that needs it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Those are paying you, and those are not even, which is quite remarkable, because then they can also become part of your client. Does that make sense? It's not really your clients. It's a slightly different way of thinking about it. Right, and what happens if we're sharing clients then? So for example, if I'm supplying, a lot of people that it's to do with, I wouldn't say mental health, but well-being and executives and the soft stuff to try and get people to become better, think better, and so on and so forth. Okay, right. I could be inviting you. Here's a good way of doing it. Right? I'm going to invite you to my friends. You are a client. You're a potential client. Would you like that? That means you have to pay them, presumably. I mean, if I introduce you as a client, you'd be like, okay, right, I'm the client. Okay, I'm going to fork out some money. What for?
Yeah, exactly.
What for? Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas what I would suggest is it's not really like that. It's more like, well, it's not for a specific thing. It's more like, okay, do you want to have mental well-being? Do you want to have a good, healthy mental state to be able to get? Okay, so you might mark it as eventually I'll get a job, a better job than you've got now.
Yeah. Okay,
so a bunch of people will help you get that job. But what happens if instead of paying an individual, this is it, 11:10. Sorry, yes. Well, you don't know, but okay. Instead of paying an individual, what you're doing is you're saying, I would like to get this job. Okay, I'm having difficulty getting this job. Okay, I just don't want this job that I've got. I want another job. All right, it gives me slightly more money. Blah 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 blah. Okay, that's what I need. That's what I want, and so on and so forth. And what you do is you put it out to the network, and the network help you. And effectively, somebody comes up to you and says, okay, what's your problem? And you go, well, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So I know what your problem is, it's this, do. And then if you accept it or not, you go, oh, do I have to do something about that? Maybe I should. But if they just come up to you and they provided that service for you, reflecting back to you something that you might need to do. Or somebody actually knows somebody else and they've got a job and they offer you a job. Now, that would be pretty cool. Do you see? Okay, so they can either offer you a job, somebody in the network offers you a job, or gives you an introduction to somebody that gets the job, or they say, okay, what's going on here? Okay, look, if I was going to, I think what's happening here, and they try and suggest something to you and they work with you, change your mind state or maybe your address or whatever it is, so that when you go to your own job interview, you get a job.
Yeah.
The point is that at some stage or other, you get more money. Right, now in our classic system, you've been helped, you paid for the person, you paid one person to help you on something. You've had to decide, you've had to diagnose and to decide what the problem is, then solve it, and then you pay them, you get on with it, you get your money. And I'm suggesting no. If you got that money, that means you continuously, after that, put some money into the network, in effect. You invite specific people for a certain amount of money. Does that make sense? No. Spoke very fast there.
Yes, I mean, it makes sense, but there's always a but. Okay, so, I've come along, I've forked out like 10 quid or whatever it is for these relationship with these people.
Yeah, let's just say £10, okay, just £10 an hour, all right, for, let's say, a month, over a month, okay? Let's say you do that. Let's say you're willing to risk £10, okay, over a month. Fine.
Right, so, Fred is talking to John and so on, and I've listened to them.
Mm-hmm. Careful with hitting this because it interferes with the sound. Yep.
Yeah, right, okay, so I've, they've told me what I want to hear, or I've spoken to them, and we discussed things.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I come back again? Until I'm needed, or I need that.
You don't have to. And also remember, you've only put £10 an hour in, okay, so, people would be having to come and engage you and say, because they want to, because they want to help you. Because it's certainly they're not doing it for the money, because £10 an hour is like, that isn't enough, okay. However, some people will turn up and say, and because it's £10 an hour, it would be people like me, okay, and I'd be coming along and I would say something in a very short period of time, and I would tell you what you fucking need to hear. And you would either go, I don't like that, because there's no time. You haven't given them time to build a relationship and da. So it happens to be an hour, and I'll say, you've only got an hour over this next month. Then the person to talk to is me, because in this hour, I'm going to fuck your brain over. Sorry, you are going to be so fucking battered by it. And not you, but the shit that's going on in your head is going to be vanquished. And at the end of it, you go, God, that was amazing. And then you say, oh, but it can't be possible. Oh, that, and all the stuff goes back in. But that's the trouble is, you've only spent that amount of money. And, okay, all I'm saying is that for that period of time, you're going to get a very intense response, perhaps. Okay, somebody that takes hours and hours and hours to talk to people, relationships, think about things, being very gentle and everything else, is not going to get you your job.
No.
Right. So if you're only going to put £10 for an hour, it means that at some point during that month, somebody's going to come up and give you such a fucking slap. All right. However, that slap might be enough for you to go, and then, you go into your job, and you get the job. Then what happens?
Well, it's the unknown.
I'll tell you what you do. It might be the unknown. And then you say, wow, that was amazing. I'm going to pay £100 a day over the month, which is a lot of money. I mean, that's like 10% what you're talking about. But what could happen? You're engaging a bunch of people that are helped you get a job. What else could they help you do? Oh, could they help you get clients? Oh, really? All right, so what's the job that you're doing? Oh, really? Could they help you get clients for the job you're doing? Oh, really? What? And you're what? Maybe hired to be a salesman? Well, you're not really a salesman anymore. So perhaps you can take the money from this company to be a salesman, and you put it into this thing where effectively clients come at you basically to try and help you resolve something or do something for you or whatever it is. Somebody needs a car. Oh, you need a car? Well, guess what? I've got a company, and for some reason they're supplying cars, or I need something for my car. I need a widget. You need something for the widget. I just happen to have a company that's got all this stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the difference is that you're not selling it to them. You're giving it to them. Oh, wait a minute. How can you do that? How can you be giving them stuff? That's the trick. Because your company thinks that they're selling stuff, but you're not. You're giving it away. Okay? And that's what you see, people don't quite understand this. How could you be giving it away? Well, why not? It's there. The widget's there. The pen is here. So I can either sell it to you, or I can just give it to you. Either way we think about it, it's going your way. Okay? The trick is, of course, with our current system is, well, how did this come into play? Well, somebody must have built this thing. And our current system thinks that all the cost of that is built into this. It's not. This thing is built. There is no money attached to it. Okay, it's a thing. Okay, and that's part of the illusion. Okay, okay, okay. So, so there's something very interesting about this slight different change of how it is that we're thinking about things. I haven't been able to verbalize it fully, but do you start seeing the edges of how that thing kind of works? Effectively, you start putting money in, and you have to trust it, basically. And if you put a little bit in, you're going to get a very intense response back from somebody, depending on the size of the system. It might be very gentle. But the more money you put in, hopefully the more results you get. The more results you get in the real world means you need to keep on putting more money in. You need to. If you don't, and you reduce that, you're just going to get swallowed by the system again. Remember, we're trying to
get out of the system.
Yes, exactly. So why would I be interested in helping you get a job? And I did. Literally, I tried to help you get a job the other day. And I have tried with your mental state. Why? Why do I want you to get a job? It's a shit thing. You're going to get exploited more. Da da da. I don't want that really to happen, but you really want it. Okay, I'll help you. I'll help you do that. But if you did, you'd leave the house and never see you again, probably.
Probably not.
Do you see?
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you see? So why? And that's what I've done with adults. I've helped people. They do certain things, and then it's like, oh, bye. Come on. Okay, kids didn't do that. Okay, kids were in a classroom, da, 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 but there's something about when you provide a service for somebody genuinely, they really respect it, and there's something that happens which is just lovely, lovely. And our money system fucks that over. Okay. Whereas what I'm trying to say is, once we get the right relationship with people, the right relationship where things are happening, better mental states, better living, and money flow and being able to do things, that sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
It does sound good. And we want to be doing it in a way which is ecological for us, so you can get on with things, I can get on with things, and so on and so forth. We can get on. Right. And that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create effectively a network. It's not like a company. It's not like a company. And the whole notion of what a client is, it's like, it's just that I'm a client now. If I'm paying £10 an hour, then I'm a client. Am I a client? Am I a client or what? And so, am I a client if I pay you? And so you're just having all these just like different relationships. And the people you're giving money to, effectively, you are potentially the client to them. But actually, you're employing them in a way, but they're also creating something that you're servicing you. Oh, okay, that's quite nice. And then we have this different layers with different people. And you're determining how that happens. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Right. Any questions about that? Shall I move on?
Yep, move on.
Okay, there's one thing I'd like to do. I'm just going to point out. There's this project by. I wanted to make it a bit tighter, and I'll probably make it a bit tighter somewhere or other. Dante, what I'm going to be doing is simulating the current system. This is currently what we're using. Am I allowed to show this? I don't know. We'll have to rub it out. Erase the thing from the video. But this is Asana, and this is a project management tool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my tasks. Okay, my tasks. Boom. What are my tasks? Tell us, Asana. Oh, there they are. New task. Coordinate the effort on the project. Create data on how long projects take over. Harvest. Upcoming. Note ongoing process. Right. Blah blah blah. Okay, these are the things that I need to do. Have you got things like this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the trick about this one is it's meant to be self-organized. So it still has a bit of a hierarchy. It's not as horizontal as I'd like it to be, but it means that different people are doing different things. And so, for example, there are different tasks here. Most of them are me. But for example, in this one, here's Dante. Dante's meant to be kind of in charge of those. Okay. However, I can look at any one of them. and I can write a comment. In fact, I did that somewhere. Yeah. No. Oh. Oh, there's a link there. Oh. I also attached the task list. I wonder if he deleted. Did I write something? And he deleted it. Ah, there we go. He's responded. Look, I wrote something. He's responded. Right. So the point is, it's a way to engage. But the point about this is it's meant to be a minimal system. I want this to be minimal so that we get along with whatever the hell it is that we want to be doing in the real world or electronically, whatever the hell it is. Whereas what tends to happen is that these things, the tools that we're using, end up being labor intensive. It's like dealing with the managers. That takes a fucking while. And you're like, why am I having to deal with the manager and everything else and do all this thing? It's like, just let me get on with the job. Just let me get on with the job. And in fact, you're there, and I should be telling you how to get on with my job. I want to get on with my job. I need this. It's not a manager. They're a facilitator. You're telling them, I need this. So could you try and do something because I need to, and that's what you'd be doing. Yeah, and that's what I would like here. It's like I've met a problem. Could you solve it? I can't solve it in the system that I've got and the way I'm working. Could somebody else do that? And you effectively say that, please. But it's not like to a manager and then a manager decides. It's more like, that's what I've managed to work out. Could somebody sort this out? And somebody else goes, oh, okay, I'll do that. And they can assign themselves, or they can suggest it to somebody else. Say, have a look at that. Is that what you look at it and go, oh yeah, I can do that. No, they're the manager. No, they're not the manager. They're the person that just went, oh look, I think you can do what B's problem is and solve that. It goes, oh, I can, thanks. Now that's nice. It's like a recommendation thing, isn't it?
Yep.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do. This is what we're using, but I want to simulate this in a new platform, and the platform is called the confluence model, and it's lighter than this. So over this month, I'm going to be over September. We haven't actually got the client say yes yet, okay? But he's going to be talking to them. So for example, client returns, speak to him, negotiate, quote with client. Okay, and that's meant to be on the 4th of September. And so hopefully, and the timescale is of a month, we're going to get this thing done, create this thing. It's a bit of software, fine. But I want to use this as not only a test for me to engage a bunch of people, but I also want to simulate how it would work in this other system. Because if I can simulate it and then show people how it could work, including with MTTP and SEA, i.e. equal squared, financial protocols, it means it's like a test run. And people go, so they've got the experience of what they did, and also they kind of see it in this alternative way it could have been done, and the results in terms of time and money and everything else. And they go, oh, so we would have done exactly what we did, I create this thing, but we would have done it in this alternative way of doing it. Yes. And then they say, well, that's pretty interesting, that's pretty useful, and hopefully it'll be enough for some people to go, let's code something better than Asana. Now, if you can code something better in Asana that actually works and helps people achieve objectives, you could sell that too, couldn't you? And clients would go, I'll pay some money for that, client, because it's a tool that works. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And he should be able to find a client. And then he'll go, this is very interesting. He'll find a client that's willing to pay that. He'll pay for the development of, right, now that's what I need to do, right. Okay, there's another guy. He's called Manny, and he's trying to produce, he's playing around with kind of sex, basically, and memes, and trying to get people to become aware of how it is that we're manipulated using marketing. But he's doing it by manipulating us. Okay? It's a very odd thing, okay, but a lot of it's to do with sex. And so he's doing something which is effectively attractive. The old sex. It's not sex sells, sex attracts. Okay? And I've been suggesting to him, right from the beginning, I went, oh, this is what I thought before, can we align? And I've tried to align with him a bit, but not enough for us to get a result, basically. I've suggested certain things, and he hasn't met me. He's gone, oh, that's amazing, that sounds great. And you're like, okay, but I need him to step up, as it were, and tell me where he is financially. What is he trying to do? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think he's taking a more traditional route. He's not really, but I think he is. And I think we can get money flow on that this month. Again, using equal square protocols and everything else. So if he's doing something which is very, very highly attractive in a certain way, okay, to do with story and narrative and so on and so forth, This other guy's doing effectively project work to do with, it just so happens currently right now, it's to do with operating systems and apps and so on and so forth. You've got two major aspects. You've got the sex thing and the tractor, and then you've got apps and stuff like that as obviously what everybody needs in the world. Various systems to help them do whatever it is that they're doing. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Nice. Two players, right? Yeah. Gunther's doing some high-tech stuff to do with information and knowledge. I think he can fit in here, but I don't quite know what he's doing, but he's producing a book, and that book is to do with global unity somewhere or other, and also what's happening currently globally. He's talking about it. He's also implementing it, but how much is he implementing it? And that's what I'd like him to do, to kind of like take part in this actual implementation in the way we're doing it. Doug, he needs money now. His son was meant to get some money to be able to do this college thing, and it's just fallen through. Okay, so he doesn't have money. He needs to get money. And what's he going to do? He's going to revert back to, I need to get money, I'll have to do it the traditional way of da 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 da. Whereas I'm saying, can we put it together this month, okay, where we can actually start getting money flow? Because it's done in a certain way, it might not be a huge amount, all right, which is a slight problem. But because it's done in a certain way, it has a much greater chance of increasing scalably. Okay, so I would say if we get it right, October, we're managing to get a certain amount of money. Okay, September, I can't see it that much. I can see this thing, the Bitcoin exchange, whether I'm allowed to talk about that. With Doug, I think we can sell something to a big company, and that's one thing I was thinking about you as well. I think we can go to a company and sell, effectively give, a gem. Okay, and I'm talking to Doug later today with Doug. I'm talking to him specifically about going to a supermarket, okay, with a specific gem. And he's already said, oh, but look, it takes a while to be able to, who to speak to, and you've got to set up the description of what it is for anybody to actually put any money in. You think, well, yeah, traditionally, yes. Okay, but with our methodology, all we really need is the core. And he thinks it's not possible. I think it is. And we go there at the crystal, and you go there and you give them this crystal. You might be able to give them a little bit more information. And effectively, before the meeting, produce it. Whatever it is that you produce your document, produce your PDF, produce your presentation, whatever the fuck it is. Get your team together, whatever the fuck it is, to get it as much up to a level that you think they'll go, this sounds good, here's some money. But the more that you do falls into the trap that they expect a certain standard. It's a company that's approaching them with an idea. Oh, and then you've got to have proprietorial things, and then you've got to right, all that. Okay, so the more that we do that, the more it falls into what they think is it's a company approaching them, and it has to be a formal, official relationship. No. What we're doing is we're going to a person who happens to be in a company and giving them this gem, giving this fucking gem to this human being. And they go, and the bit inside the head, at some stage, hopefully, you're trying to get them to the point of, we can make a lot of money with this. We can make a lot of fucking money out of this. However, there's a lot of unknowns. Yes. Okay? And that's part of, not the negotiation, because we're giving them the idea. The unknowns are to be determined with them, with money flow. And it might be a small amount. It might be £100. It might be just £10. £100, £1,000, and it'll just extend. Why? Because if they start to invest in just the crystal, and they start building it with us, or building on what we're doing, or taking it internally, fine, whatever. The point is, it starts to happen. At some stage, they go, well, it is happening. Yes, we've checked the legal stuff. I think this is doable. We've checked the technical stuff. We think this is actually doable before Christmas. This is to do with supermarkets. I think we can actually pull this off. Right, and they should be able to determine that within a week. They should be able to do the feasibility test within a week, basically. If we hit the right person. They can say, look, guys, I want somebody to check this, check that, check the next thing. And they put some, effectively, internal money and effort to be able to check whether it's actually got any validity. If it has validity, they say, oh, it has validity, here's some more money. And that's what they're doing. We're saying to them, all right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm talking with Doug. I'm interested in talking to you about that. So if Doug doesn't want to do that, I'm very happy to talk about that with you, because it happens to be with supermarkets, and it happens to be about Christmas, and I think there's potentially a lot of money. And we happen to have, guess what? Oh, look, a bunch of people that can code stuff. Really? Yeah, so we could actually go up to them and say, look, we do have a team that could potentially develop this project, the coding system to be able to enable the specific gem for Christmas. You do? Yes, we do. Oh, okay. So you can do it internally if you want, or you can help us, or we can help you, and so on and so forth. Do you see that? It's not negotiation. It's to do with you're trying to come up with the best solution so that the person on the other side of the table goes, right, this is information. And you're like, that's it exactly. It's not been decided yet. We're not selling anything. It's not been made yet, for crying out loud. So, do you see? I wanted to get it as close to crystal as possible. And the closer we get to just approaching, here's an idea, oh, that's an interesting idea. That, oh, that individual human being in that perspective, whatever they go, that sounds interesting. That, right. Can we expand that? All right, interesting enough to start doing something about it? Put a bit of money into it? Oh, okay. Oh, lots of variables. Good. But it's not you guys and us. No, it's just us. How are we going to make this crystal grow? Does that make sense?
It does.
Fantastic. Sorry, it's almost like wittering, but we've actually done the kind of okay, the last bit. Okay, last bit.
Yeah.
2 last bits. Oh, there's 3 bits to it. All right. Okay, sorry. Okay, no. Have you got any questions about this so far? I mean, honestly, have you got? I mean, I've had to explore that in my own head. You could tell. I kind of switched off. On my sensory input. I was just kind of projecting. Right. Yes, say it.
The only thing is, it's the trust thing. You know.
Yes.
You go to these companies, and you know that one, they're going to think, well, who the fuck are you? Why are you bothering me with this?
That's why you should have some kind of, if there's somebody who says, well, I've got this experience and that knowledge and da-da-da, they go, okay, it's somebody.
Yeah.
That's all. They just have to have a badge, basically, and say, oh, it's somebody. I don't have that. That's why I can't do that. If you and I go, we don't really, whereas Doug might. Okay? He might have enough credibility to go, okay, there's a guy here who's got some kind of credibility, that's why we have the appointment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, no, that was it, really. Be honest with you.
Okay, that's fine. So that's why a network is useful. There are people within our network that, for example, Gunther, perhaps, who can flash a badge basically. You can say, look, I've done this, this, and this. And America checks it, they go, fucking hell, it's a guy who's done something. That's it. That's it. And they've turned up for some reason at their office.
Yeah.
With an opportunity. Oh, you know, okay. Guys come in and they want to give you something. You know? Actually, that's why we have to say at the start, we say sell. You can only get into people's offices if you say, I've got an idea, I'm going to sell it to you. Then you can get in. If you actually say, oh, I've got an idea, I'm going to give it to you, they don't want the appointment. It's really bizarre. But when we get there, I'll be saying, sorry to deceive you. We're not going to sell this to you. We want to give this to you.
You know, I wouldn't do that if
I know that. And that's what Doug would say, oh, but you can't really do things that are
people
think it's free. Oh, you can laugh.
Sit there and laugh at it.
Yeah, we can laugh. That's the whole point about it. It's so hilarious. The way we do
about
things
in the meeting.
Yes.
You know, if you sit there and laugh at it, the bloke's going to be the bloody security bill.
Not if it's
I've got
it's
a pair
so
of
good.
nurses in my office.
Yes,
Get them out.
but if it makes sense. The point is, yes, there's a balance somewhere. Okay, there's a balance somewhere there. But all I'm saying is that the way I do things, that's why I can't do it alone. The way I do things is, it really is remarkable. Remarkable how our system works. It's very, very different. It's very, very different. And part of it is actually funny. Okay, it is actually funny to go into offices and give people money and an idea and an absolutely fuck off stimulating conversation at least. Okay, I mean, they will talk about that. I mean, that's like, if you talk about getting attention, it's like, you know, right. So, okay, so we have to talk about that more precisely maybe if you're interested in doing one of the gems. I don't want to talk about the specific gem now. Right, I'm going to talk, oh, sorry, anything else?
No.
Okay. So, last year we came up with, or I've analysed in the structure of how MTTP contracts work, is you get things called equity cycles. Okay, so for example, if I invite you for tenor, so you bring your tenor, I bring my tenor, okay, and it goes your way.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you invite, the mug. All right, the mug, John. All right, the Godfather, in fact.
Yeah.
And you have 10, they have 10. Okay, and it goes their way. Now that means you still have £10. Mine, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay, but now they've got 20. And they do the same with
me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And they have, right, and then they back to me. What happens is so all we've done is I've given you £10, you've given 10, 10, 10. It's called an equity cycle. Because we haven't actually spent any money. And yet we've given it. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we call this thing an equity cycle. So in an hour, £10, we've circulated £40. If it was 10 of us, we'd be circulating £100. Nobody's made any money. You leave with the same amount of money. However, what you can do, and this is what's slightly interesting, it's like, okay, so that was an equity cycle. What you can do, the last year I thought, what you can do is, well, I've got £100. We could invite somebody for the day. We could invite somebody for the day, which means that 10 of us, even though we've only got £10, that's 10 of us, that's £100. £100, that's a day. Somebody else turns up at the beginning of the day with £100. Well, we've got £100. Oh, fantastic. We've said it's going to go their way by the end of the day. Our hour finishes. All right, and we leave with, what do we leave with? If it's an equity cycle, we only leave with 10. Is that correct? Yes. If we're doing it just as you see, it's been a while since I've had to think about that. I don't know if we want to go into this detail, but effectively, you still leave with the money that you came with. Okay? It's just that they have effectively, their money that they brought has just been split up by us leaving before the end of the day. You see, our hour finishes before the end of the day, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so because it's an equity cycle though, we leave, we could potentially, if you do the setting, we leave with all of the money. We leave with £20. Each of us. How did that happen? Because we attracted £100. The trouble is, he has nothing. Okay, which is not good. Right, so if it's an equity cycle, and we just done an equity cycle, not a proper NTTP, but an equity cycle, it means that we leave with just £10, i.e. we leave with the money we came with, and he will also leave with £100. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's an equity system, but it's equity system across a period of time, or if you want to talk about hierarchically, £100. So it's called a vertical equity cycle. Okay, I came up with this last year. I was like, I think the maths of this is correct. It's a bit mind-boggling, and I don't quite know the function of it. And I suddenly realised what it was. Okay, and that's what we're doing. We're doing this thing called the ha-has. And the ha-has we've been co-designing over this last month, or last 3 weeks. Okay, so what you do is you put in £10. What for? You're going to decide what to do with that £10 in that hour. So if you get 1,000 people, and that was the ideal, by the end of September, we still might hit this, guys. Okay, yesterday I was like, nah. Now today I'm thinking, ooh, it's possible. If we can wake the fuck up! Oh, sorry. 11:39. All right. Sorry, that was a bit rude. Right. Sorry. Wake the fuck up. Right. Okay, so if there's 1,000 of us by the end of September, and we're all putting £10 in,
Yeah.
that's an equity cycle, in effect. We're almost like, and that's what I try to do. I try to set up a system of an invitational protocol where I just give you effectively 10, right. Anyway, 1,000 people turn up, and effectively they're putting in £10. That means you're making a decision for 10k. Okay, in an hour. Is that like enough money for? Oh, you mean like a project, like to create the operating system, this alternative thing? Yes, yes. Right. What the fuck? All right, which means that we potentially have money to create anything we want to in the fucking world. All right, with 10k. How many of us have the opportunity to fucking spend 10k? Not many fucking of us. All right, okay. Most of us have to be in a company to decide, ooh, what will I do with this money? All right, whatever. But this is like, you only put £10 in, and you're making a decision about 10k. Right, sorry, right. So that's very exciting, because it fits into this idea of what Manny's doing. Perhaps we could say, right, well, Manny's doing this project, and if we put this money into Manny's project this week, he says that this is going to happen. Ooh, interesting, okay. Right? Or there's Dante's doing something or other, or you're doing something, or somebody says something that goes, oh, if that's that sounds interesting, right? And that's what we're trying to do. Don't know if it's possible. We still don't know if it's possible. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that it's like an accelerated version of the 10 people times by £10 to attract the 100, that equity cycle. Yes?
Yeah.
This is £10 per 10,000, okay, over a week. Now, what's actually happening, and this is the bit of definition that I got this morning, what's actually happening is that 10k, effectively part of the decision that week, and it might be possible if we get really good at ha-has. Oh, that was a ha-ha. Right? Is you actually determine where's that 10k go. So, for example, that would be 10 times £1,000 people, i.e. 10 people times by 1,000, or okay, 1k, £1,000 a week. Do you see? That's a group of 10 people. So effectively, 1,000 people are deciding what to do with the money collectively to effectively fund 10 people at £1,000 a week. Or it could be 5 times 1k, and that would leave another 5k at £100. That'd be 50. Bloody hell, 50 people for 50 £100 days. That's not bad, is it?
No.
50 £100 days. That means out of the 1,000, it might require, whatever the project is, it might require some people a few days to do something, to produce a video, another. Do you see? And that's kind of had to be determined kind of through the week. We won't be able to determine all from the beginning, but you can start that process. And effectively, this is it. This is the beautiful bit. Is that 10k, and the first on that actual ha-ha actually is going, as it currently happens, is to the person, the trusted person in the ha-ha, okay, that's in charge of the network. Okay, so if you set up your ha-ha with your network and you invited people, they're effectively giving you the money. Okay, but what you're going to be doing is giving it all away using NTTP. Okay, and if you don't do it, people won't be coming to your ha-has again.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to make sure, it comes to me, it goes all out. All of it out. Okay, and that means there's something very interesting about it. Now, I haven't worked that out, because, okay, how can you make money that week? Well, you might be one of the people doing this, but maybe you'll be taking back somebody else's ha-ha. And you might be playing, not for £10 an hour, you might be playing at £100 a day for people, where you're putting in £100, and you're making a decision what to do that day for something that might take a month. Okay. Anyway, the point is you might be already invited, which means that you're like, no, I've got my money, which means that you can take this 10,000 and redirect it because you've got your money. You're okay. You're going to leave the end of the week or the month or whatever the fucking period. You've got money coming at you, so it's fine. It's fine. It's been guaranteed by somebody else, basically, and something else. Do you see?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful, man. It's fucking beautiful. So those ha-has, I knew they had potential, but it's all starting to fit into place, as in how it actually articulates with MTTP, and I never thought about how it articulated with MTTP.